All right, hello. Would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Hi, my name's Rosanna McLeod. I'm Native Alaskan. I'm 23 years old.
Tell us a little bit about your experience.
So I moved down here. I was homeless in Alaska for about 3 years. I stayed at a shelter called Covenant House, Alaska. I moved down here with my now ex-boyfriend, and we moved down here with like $300 in our pocket, and we were just completely tired of Alaska. There were a lot of drugs up there, and I myself was getting into drugs, and it was killing me, and I could see it. So I just decided to cut it all off and head out.
And you came to Arizona after that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. It was literally within like a span of like 5 days that I made the decision, and we were here.
When you say we, who's we?
My ex-boyfriend.
Your ex-boyfriend at the time?
Yep.
Okay. And all right. So when you arrived here, you were houseless at the time.
Yes.
Okay.
On the street.
And you mentioned that you were only briefly houseless here, but during that period of time, you had a bunch of like experiences. Were you in a shelter?
Yes, I was. I ended up going to home-based youth services, and that experience was not the best experience at all. I had a, I guess you could say kind of like a sponsor who would help me get clothes and stuff. And I finally had to go to her because the situation that was happening there, it was just too dire.
Damn. All right. So it's like I understand that it was a very traumatic experience for it. So I don't really want to go into too much about that. I did know that you mentioned that you had a housing voucher and that you had a lot of problems with that. Can you tell me about that?
Yes. Okay, so the voucher I only got because I found out I was pregnant. I went in for an STD checkup, and he was like, well, don't have any STDs, but you're pregnant. And I was like, are you sure? I was like, I'll take an STD over pregnancy. He started laughing. But it was after that, one other case manager came to me and finally told me that we could get a voucher because we were pregnant at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And
this is still with your ex?
Yes.
Okay.
And so they gave us some paperwork. I'm not even sure where they got it from. They just handed us some paperwork and said, here, fill this out and we'll get back to you in like a month or two. And like within a month and a half, they had gotten back to us and they had set up an interview where you go in and you ask questions about your past, like if you've been homeless or what you've been going through. It's just like a bunch of like in-depth questions that you have to answer. And then they decide whether you need the voucher or not.
So it's like it's very, honestly, it sounds like a very traumatic experience. You're having to go into like dig in deep into your own traumas, relive them, and put them and break them down, probably on a very small little piece of paper.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, how do you put 10 years of trauma into this sentence? That sounds awful. I'm sorry.
Literally, it was terrible. And then when I had to do the interview, he was like, "Can you elaborate on this?" And I'm like,
oh God. Just let me peel back that wound a little bit. Just here's some salt.
Yeah.
All right.
You like that?
Wow. Okay. Okay. That's fucking awful. So, but eventually you did get into housing. But you said also you did mention a little bit about how an eviction. What happened?
Okay.
And please don't share anything that you don't want to share.
Honestly, it was partly our fault. Yes, I will admit that. We weren't paying our rent on time, but it was also the leasing lady. She had it out for me and my boyfriend for some reason. I hung out with this older lady that lived in the building, and she was like the only person I ever talked to, and the front desk lady had a problem with her, and so she was looking to kick us out at any chance she got. And so when she got it, she kicked us out right away. But after I had left, I had been talking to my neighbor, who was 3 months behind on rent at that point when she was talking to me. And she was like, oh yeah, she worked with me, why wouldn't she work with you? So that was just a tad weird to me.
Sounds like it's like a little bit of you had a struggle, a bad time, and then a little bit maybe a little extra maybe harsh time from the leasing person. But regardless, now whatever happened, whether it was your fault, whether it could have been easier, you have an eviction. How difficult has that been?
It's been so difficult. The apartments I live in right now, they were safe before, but the other night there was a shooting. A security guard got shot 9 times and he was killed. Literally like right around, not even around the corner, like across the street from us. And I heard it at night and I just thought it was fireworks.
How old is your son?
Yes.
How old are they?
He is 1 month and 1 year and 2 months.
That sounds like a super scary situation to be in with a small child.
Oh yeah. It is. I've been working to get out of there. That's why I've been paying off my eviction and trying to be able to get out of there as soon as possible.
Did you pay it off? I think you mentioned that to me
Yes.
earlier. You did. All right. So now it's
Thankfully.
paid off. So now because you paid it off, people are a little bit more willing to work with you in the rental market.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
But you still have a limitation because you have the eviction.
Yep.
Some people won't work with you. at all.
They'll literally like post on there no evictions.
Okay. But now it's a little bit easier because some people who do work with evictions saw you paid it off, see you're willing, and are more willing to work with you. So it makes it a little bit easier. Well, at least you're climbing out of this pit.
Literally, finally.
And all these things that have happened to you, it makes it harder to get back like to normal, whatever,
Oh, yeah.
or just some sort of stability with housing.
Yep. Any at all. When I was growing up, my parents didn't really teach me about like stability. They just handed me everything and they're like, "You'll figure it out on your own." And I'm like, "But I don't want to figure it out on my own." You know?
Okay. Yeah. Honestly, it's a thing that you said. Okay, I failed at this. My parents failed at this, and now you're having to learn on your own. You're having to struggle. You're learning the hard way. Oh gosh. All right. Let's see here.
I'm the youngest of 6. My sister that's closest to me is 10 years older than me.
Oh wow. Damn. You're the baby.
I was adopted when my parents were 56 years
Oh
old.
gosh. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were old.
Yeah, they were. Gosh, that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
I have 3 dogs.
when I first had my son, I called my mom up. I was like, "Mom, hello," and she was like, yeah." I was like, "Why the fuck did you have a child at 56 years old?"
Did she answer you?
Yeah, she was like, "Well, your dad wanted another kid."
All right, go dad. Here you go.
Well, I am his favorite out of all of them. I'm the only one he named.
Oh, your mom named the other one.
Yep.
All right.
My name was almost Marcella.
Marcella. Hey, no offense, Marcellas. We'll cut that.
No offense, Marcella.
So you're doing better. I did want to talk a little bit about your experience with police brutality. What happened there?
Okay, so I usually like am awake all night. So I had fallen asleep like 5 in the morning, and I had noticed like outside there was a lot of movement going around, but I just fell asleep. And when I woke up, I heard a lot of voices and stuff, and I looked outside, and the entire parking lot in front of my apartment complex was just filled with trucks. And then I looked up and there was an RV that said Donald Trump, and I was like, whoa.
Scary.
It was terrifying. I was like, I don't know what's going on here. And then right as soon as I heard that, I think I woke up because I heard the siren. You know that siren that they play before they play that guy's voice where they're like, "You guys need to disperse. This is an unlawful..."
Gosh, an unlawful
protest.
No, an unlawful gathering.
Oh,
That's what they say. The
gathering. It
gathering.
gets me every
This is an
time.
unlawful gathering. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I heard that and I went outside and I ran down, and as I was running down the road, it was kind of angled like this. I was right about here, and a cop was like down at the bottom, and this lady had a Subaru Outback, and she had the volunteer shirt on, and she was grabbing water out of her trunk to give it to the other volunteers that were helping people, like after they'd been shot or whatever, like with rubber bullets and stuff. But I forgot what I was saying.
It's okay. You were talking about the protest with police brutality.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And then once he got to her, I knew something was gonna happen. So as soon as that happened, I pulled out my phone and I kept walking towards her. And he was like, "You need to get back. You need to get back. Get back in your car right now." And she was like, "Let me just drop off this water real quick, you know?"
She was just trying to put water out for the protesters because this was this in 2020 and during the heat?
Yes.
Oh God, yeah, we need that fucking water. Thank you.
Yes. And then he literally, her thing was open, and he grabbed the top of her thing while she was still under it, and just slammed it down on her back.
Shit.
And she was like, she like fell into it and stuff, and then she fell down, and then he like closed it the rest of the way, and she got up and she had to leave because he was about to like go ham on her. He was yelling at the top of his lungs. Like, I've never heard a man shout like that before in my life. Like, there were some angry people there that day. And then I went closer to the front, and I was standing next to this girl, and she was crying and hyperventilating, and she something made a noise, and it sounded like a, and we both looked around each other, and we were like, what was that? And we looked down at her knee. She had 2 knees.
What do you mean she had 2 knees? Oh no!
Yeah, she got hit by a rubber bullet in the knee. She had 2 knees. So there was this knee here, and there was another one right about here. And it didn't even take that long for it to just swell up. It was that hard, and it hurt that bad that her knee automatically just popped right up.
Gosh, that's so fucking awful. Yeah, no, I was at a couple of those protests myself. I didn't get hit with anything though. Wow, yeah, and
I almost got hit.
Yeah,
it was terrifying. I was trying to go back home because behind the church is right behind my house, and I was trying to walk up like right here. And when I walked up, there was, I want to say 20, maybe more, because it was the entire road was completely covered by state troopers.
Those are the scary guys.
And all I remember was screaming, "I'm just trying to get home. I'm just trying to get home." And they started screaming back, "Get the fuck back. Get the fuck back. I'm gonna hit you." Even though I was like about 5 months pregnant at the time.
Obviously pregnant.
And you could actually see that I was pregnant. And so one of the officers took one of the spray cans and sprayed it in the air, like as to say, next one's for you.
That's their like mace shit.
Yes, and it wasn't like one of those like.
What did they have? Did they have
the protest ones that I'd seen in like 2016? They sprayed so far out that you could like, it was scary.
You could see the stream?
Yes.
Oh gosh, no, I didn't see that shit either. Okay, that's terrifying. Well, I'm glad that they didn't get ya.
Me too.
Okay, fuck, man. Okay, so we talked briefly about like the shelter that you used was so fucking traumatizing. We really can't even talk about it much.
Yeah.
We talked about vouchers. We talked about the eviction and how that affected this whole process. We talked about the police brutality. This was mostly the timeline of everything that's happened to you here in Phoenix.
Let's talk about home base, though. I actually do want to talk about that.
Is that the shelter from here?
Yep.
Okay.
So, after I found out I was pregnant with my daughter, I had decided to put her up for adoption. I found an agency here in Arizona that I kind of trusted. You can't really trust those people a lot. But I found the family that I actually trusted through that place. And I had been telling the people at the shelter that I was pregnant and stuff. And with this pregnancy, I had that hypermeiosis.
Okay.
So I couldn't drink, eat, or anything at all without puking my literal guts out. There were points in time where I couldn't even smell food. It would just and I would puke up like green stuff. So I started smoking weed a little bit more because it helped me. And when I did that, my case manager, he decided to put me in NA.
Narcotics Anonymous.
Yes. At that time, I was about 4.5 months pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And that was honestly the most triggering thing I've ever gone through. Because at that place, there was literally no one was clean. Literally everyone was doing stuff worse than me that I had been addicted to before too. And so that in itself was one of the biggest triggers for me.
So because you were around a bunch of people who were addicted to substances that you had already experienced addiction issues with.
Yep.
Okay.
And then it gets worse.
Oh, God.
So my case manager had it out for me. And I don't say that lightly. I never do. It takes a lot for me to say someone had it out for me, but this motherfucker had it out for me. One day I went into the office because he called me in there. And he looked at me in the face and said, I have a bet with my friends that you're going to kill your daughter with weed. Yeah. Yep. I started crying so bad. He's like, why are you crying? And I was like, because I want to take that computer cord and wrap it around your neck. That's why. And then I left. And I never spoke to him ever again. I got a new case manager. I spoke to this lady at JAG, Arizona. Jobs for Arizona's Youth.
Okay.
She helped me get a new case manager. She took my statement. She literally had me write down the thing that he said to me, and she took that, and I don't know what happened with it, but she had been talking to directors and stuff about it, but
it sounds like she did you
it
a
was
solid.
really bad.
I'm sorry it took a while for somebody to give a shit enough to help you.
Yeah.
That's what it took. It took a person with enough power and enough shits to give to help you.
Yep.
Okay, about that, your case manager, the initial one, is a fucking asshole. I'm glad the other one helped you. The one that gave a shit and started connecting you and helping you, did that get you to a better place eventually?
Yes, it did. She actually helped me get my first job here in Arizona. I started working at this place, this restaurant. It was really nice over there. She helped me get clothes and stuff. I'm pretty sure any youth can go there, anywhere from 18 to 24.
Mm-hmm.
It just helps you with resources. They'll help you find like computer labs so you can find work. They will work with you to actually write a resume, which is something I have always struggled with.
Mm-hmm. Well, right. If we're not taught it in school.
Oh no.
I mean, our parents don't teach us. We're not taught it in school, and they're like, "Go, be free, enjoy." And you're like, "What am I doing?"
We need a resume. What?
I have a friend who'll say I do a good job. Anyway, so you have a daughter who was born and adopted out.
Yes.
And then you have your son, which you have.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And things would have been much easier for both of your children if you had more resources.
Oh yeah.
If you hadn't been stuck with the case. How long were you with the caseworker that was abusive?
I have been trying to get away from him since I set eyes on him. So probably about 6 months.
6 months, and that is 6 months of you not getting in progress.
No. Just 6 months of him bullying me. Like what I said earlier about him, that was just the tip of the iceberg. That was the thing that set me off.
And there is no justice for you there is no justice for you to get for him.
Nope.
And he's still out there probably doing the same thing to
Yep.
other people. Our system is fucking broken as shit.
Yeah, it is. You know, the other day I saw a job online, like his job, and they only get paid $14 an hour, and I was like, whew, no wonder he was so grumpy. I would be too.
Oh god. You're giving him more empathy than he gave you. Oh my god. Your fucking story is fucking intense. And how old are you now?
23.
23.
24 next month.
Okay. And how long have you been housed?
Year and a half?
A year and a half?
Maybe a little bit over,
A little
honestly.
bit over. So
Yeah.
That's about how old your son is?
Yes.
So basically around the...
we got into the house about 5 months before he was born.
Okay, so you at least had that experience. All right. Fuck. Wow.
I definitely did notice that it took a while to get off survival mode and actually like learn to like make spaces my own, because after living in like a shelter and not having like that security of knowing that my stuff would be there, it took almost, maybe I want to say 9-10 months just for me to actually like start buying things for my apartment and like actually decorating my apartment.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I had an idea for a question right after that thought process. You were when you were houseless here in Arizona. Did you ever spend nights on the streets?
Yes, actually I stayed on 2nd Avenue and Osborne behind a dumpster for about maybe 2 weeks, and then I stayed farther down the street on Osborne. It was this apartment complex that had a stairway that was covered, so I slept under there when it rained. And then there was one other spot, but I forget where it was.
Was that experience terrifying?
It was terrifying. I could barely sleep.
Barely sleep. And like, how would you just try to like make some money and get hotels, or try to get into the shelter? Just depended on the day.
At that point in time, I was just waiting for home base to answer and let us go in for an intake interview. So we were just waiting for that.
And you were with your ex at the time?
Yes.
Okay, so you're both, at least you had one other person with you. Gosh, that's still pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's many questions I could ask. I just don't. What has the state done? Has the state done anything good for you with the resources besides when you finally got a case manager? Like, is there any good
when
to
I
this
got
stuff?
the voucher?
Yeah.
Most definitely. That was one of the biggest turn points in my life. I was like, well, if I can get this voucher, what else can I get? Like, what else can I get for myself? Because I know I can get this thing. So it just pushed me to work harder and harder on myself.
Okay, but did you lose the voucher with the eviction?
No, the voucher had already ended for that point, so they weren't supposed to pay it.
Okay, all right.
At that time.
Okay. So at that time you were like housed when that process happened. Okay, all right. So Rosanna, thank you so much for telling your story. I'm not cutting you off here, but I am putting in a clip here that I'm going to provide their socials, they, them, pronouns. I'm going to provide their socials for if you want to kick them some cash. They're still a single mom, working very hard, trying to put money on the table. I don't take money. I only take stuff. So if you want to kick them some cash, please check out these socials. I'll put them here somewhere, and we can continue our discussion. Otherwise, like, do you have anything else you want to? I'm sure. I can't think of anything else like off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's more.
Not really.
I talked about the things about the shelter. That was very difficult. Thank you for sharing. All right, so thank you so much, Rosey, for sharing your story. And this is Rosey, once again, they, them pronouns. They shared their story about being houseless here in Arizona.
Okay.
They have a pay social on Cash App.
Yes, it's Tiny Rose.
Tiny Rose.
1.
Tiny Rose 1, and that'll be all listed here. So if you want to kick a single parent some money, please share that there. And thank you so much. Check out the full thing on YouTube. I'm going to break it down on TikTok and YouTube, and I don't know what kind of editing is going to happen. Thank you, Rosey.
Of course. Thank you.
All right.